Hi, you're listening to Jeff Hughes on the eBook Revolution podcast from Madhouse Media, www.madhousemedia.com.au, coming to you almost live from Port Macquarie on the Stitcher Network and iTunes. And what I want to talk to you about today is what I call the three pathways for publishing success. If you want to be an independent writer, if you want to get your mojo together and write a book and publish it on Amazon and take advantage of this ebook revolution, which just has incredible opportunity for you. If you're just sitting on the sidelines and thinking, I'd love to write a book one day I'll get around to it. Well, you know, that day's got to happen soon for you. Maybe these three pathways will inspire you. So I call them the three pathways for indie publishing success. And I just sort of put this podcast together. I recently had a webinar on this, which I'll give you some more information on later in the podcast. But maybe you can join the webinar. Don't say that drunk. Not that I'm drunk. It's early in the morning. And it's the ebook Revolution podcast. So what are these three pathways to indie publishing success? Well, I just break it down. 1, 2, 3 pathways. The first is have a plan. Okay. Sounds very simple. Number 2 is be a pro. And this is pretty crucial. And a lot of people, when they self-publish ebooks, they forget to be a pro, and they basically have a great big neon sign hanging off their head saying, look at me, I'm an amateur, because I'm just so precious. I have to do everything by myself. I have to write the book, design the cover. I've got to do the whole lot. And behold how grand I am. Well, I'm saying that's a lot of bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. If you want to be an independent writer of some note, or even just get your message out there, you need to get your message out there professionally. So number 2 of 3 pathways is have a plan. And I'm just checking whether I'm recording. Yes, I am. We don't want technical problems this early in the piece. And number 3 is launch. So 1, 2, 3 pathways. Have a plan, be a pro, and launch. Don't just press publish on the goddamn KDP select control panel, because you'll be disappointed. And I don't want you to be disappointed. I want you to write an ebook. I want you to professionally put it together, and I want you to launch it. Do you think you can do that? Well, have a listen. I'm going to touch on those 3 things through the podcast. And today we're talking about the 3 pathways for indie success. So let's look at them. Have a plan, okay? Now, that sounds self-evident, but you can write by the seat of your pants, which can work for fiction. But I suppose I'm talking more about non-fiction ebooks here. And not having a plan is not really an option. So let's break a plan down. The first thing you need is a good idea. Obvious, isn't it? A lot of this is obvious, but sometimes the most obvious things just need restating occasionally. Have you got a good idea for an ebook? Where do you get your ideas from? I should back up. Where do you get them from? Do you keep an idea journal? Because I'm a big proponent of writing shit down. Like, if you get an idea, write it down, because it's like a friggin' cat, a scalded cat. If you don't write it down, it's just going to run out the window and back off into the forest, and you'll never see it again. I can guarantee if you don't get into the habit of writing your ideas down, you're just going to forget about it. And I just hear this again and again and again. Oh, I've got so many good ideas. Well, yeah, what are they? Write it down. The old Confucian saying, there is no memory as good as a piece of paper. There's something about the act of writing your idea down and develops the idea. But to actually capture ideas, and not just for books, but for stories, for business ideas, marketing ideas. Ideas can come to you at any time, in the middle of the night, walking on the beach. I heard this great story about Keith Richards, right, in the 60s. Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, of course. I'm a guitar player. I'm a huge fan. But, of course, even if you're not a fan of the Rolling Stones, you would know the guitar riff from Satisfaction. Dun, 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 dun. Well, the story is that in the 60s, Keith got into the habit of having a tape recorder by his bed. What for? To capture ideas. And he actually woke up early in the morning with this riff in his head, and he turned the tape recorder on, and all he captured was dun 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 dun, and he scribbled down, "I can't get no satisfaction," and he fell asleep again. And he says to this day, if he didn't record that, he would never have remembered it. So why am I telling you this? Very simply, if you're not keeping an idea journal right now, then I don't know what you're doing, because you must have a better memory than 99.99% of the human population. So that's number one. Think of a good idea, write it down, keep an idea journal. Next thing you've got to look at is this ebook idea of yours profitable. Like, obviously, if you're going to invest a lot of time writing a book, putting it together, I mean, the name of the game is you want to sell the ebooks on Kindle, correct? You want to make an income stream from a couple of ebooks. So the best thing you can do at this stage is research your ebook idea in Amazon. So look at things like, how does your idea rank? Search for books with similar ideas, and how does your book idea stand in that marketplace? What sort of competition is it? These are the things that you should be looking at. And also looking for an angle for your own book. Whoop, don't bump the microphone stand. That's Podcasting 101, children. Now, the good thing about Amazon is it can actually help us focus on our market research phase when we're looking at a book. And what you want to do is ensure that your book doesn't have too much competition in your category. So the less competition in your category you have, the more easier, the easier it is to rank the book and to sell books in your category, because it makes it easier for people to find you. Okay, so the best way to do this and to demonstrate it, go onto Amazon and you log on into the Kindle store search engine bar. Have a look. For example, type in marketing, right? Just the general topic marketing in the Kindle store. You'll see there's about 14,244 titles in marketing on Kindle ebooks. That's a lot of competition. So if you're writing a book about marketing per se, and you're not actually also Jeff Walker or Brendan Burchard, and who's going to give a shit about you, you're going to find that fairly difficult to compete in that category. But go a bit further. Let Amazon itself show you some extra categories. So type in marketing for, and the box will drop down within Amazon. It'll show you what people are searching for in that category. So it helps you find a category with less competition. And I did this, and I found marketing for writers. Okay, there's only 205 titles. So if suddenly you discover a niche that you've got a fairly good shot of getting some competition there. So don't just start writing a book. If you've got an idea, you've got to research it. Or as Matt Damon says in The Martian, which I'm looking forward to see, and to paraphrase, you've got to research the shit out of it. Okay? Find your target keywords, because in KDP, keywords are king. You've got to research what your competitors' ebooks are coming up. What sort of keywords are they using? Because the right keywords are absolutely essential to getting discovered and found in Amazon. The way to publish an ebook on Amazon is to look at it strategically, not reactively, not as some great artistic process. If you've got something to say, something to share, that's fantastic, and we all do. But you want to target it, laser target it. Use these techniques, because keywords are king. Next thing you need to think about, what's your hook? Okay, you've got to have a hook for the book, because good hooks sell books. The hook's the first thing that your reader's going to see. You know, it's the blurb in Amazon when you search in Kindle and it's got, you know, the excerpt from the book. That's one of the elements that helps you decide whether you want to hand over your hard-earned cash and buy this book. It's the blurb. It's the elevator pitch. I like to say, you know, imagine you're standing in an elevator with, you know, the head of Rupert Murdoch's publishing arm, for want of a better example. But you know, you've got 30 seconds max before he hops out of the lift, and you've got a chance to sell your book to the biggest publisher in the world, and he knows you're writing a book. Maybe had a brief conversation, and he turns to you and asks, "What's the book about?" Well, if you can't get his attention, make him interested in 30 seconds or less, you know, you've lost the deal. Well, you know, that's an overly dramatic example, but it's the old elevator pitch. A hook in a book is basically the elevator pitch. So what is the hook on your book? Okay, think of it carefully. A book I recently published for one of my clients, Mary Egan, and she wrote a wonderful book called Tale of a Barefoot Tomboy, and we actually had a talk to Mary on a previous podcast, if you want to dig that up. This book's having great success for her in the children's short story section of Kindle. Again, we researched the shit out of that and made sure it was in a competitive category. But let me read to you Mary's hook, okay? This is the actual hook in Amazon, and it's a great hook for the book. Listen to this hook, and it will tell you exactly what the book's about, okay? And it will compel you to buy it, I hope. Here it is. Stevie Tremblay is enjoying the last few days of summer in rural British Columbia when she meets an attractive couple driving a beautiful white convertible car. They invite her for an ice cream, but when Stevie refuses, she's abducted and taken far from home. But the couple has made two big mistakes. One is underestimating Stevie. Alone, barefoot and 8 years old, Stevie must break rules and use her tomboy wisdom to get home safely. I think that's a brilliant hook. That just sums up this great little children's adventure story, and it makes you want to read more. That's the essence of a good hook. That's all I'm trying to say. So, get your hook. Next thing you've got to do is have a brain dump. Okay, so you've picked a topic, you've researched the shit out of it on Amazon. You've got to get it all down now. Again, pen and paper. Create a mind map. Just dump it all out. Find the gaps. This is basically going to be the raw material for the next part of your book, which is putting the chapter together, a chapter list together. So just free associate. Identify your ebook chapters, and then get some index cards. Write out the chapter headings on indexed cards. You're able to move them around, You can organise your thoughts. So at this stage, your book's starting to get real. It's starting to... you're starting to organise your thoughts. So this idea you had that you've researched, you're now able to see it in a tangible form and a bunch of, at this stage, just index cards. You can arrange them on the floor or on the table. I use Scrivener. I don't know if you've heard of that. That's a fantastic word processing software that actually has index cards built into the interface. So every chapter has its own index card, so you can drag them around and rearrange the chapter orders. Very, very cool. But that's a bit high tech. You could just use Post-it notes just as effectively. So that's organising your information. So the next thing you need to do, and remember we're talking about the 3 pathways to publishing success. So what I was outlining at the top was 1, have a plan, 2, be a pro, and 3, launch. And we're still talking about 1 outline at this stage. So by now you've got everything together. You've organised your chapters. Write 3 to 6 dot points to cover each chapter, the points you want to make in each chapter, and then under those points, another 3 to 6 sub-points to cover as well. So let's just go over that. You organise your chapters using index cards. Think about the 3 to 6 points that you need to cover in each chapter, and then think about the 3 to 6 sub-points you need to cover as well. What you've got now is basically a skeleton for your ebook. So, we're almost off to the races. You've got a working... I just bumped the microphone stand again. Maybe I should strap my hands to the side of the chair. In the studio. Can't take me anywhere, listeners. And by the way, you're listening to Jeff Hughes on the Ebook Revolution podcast. If you've clumsily hit fast forward, which I probably would if I was listening. Anyway, you now have an effective skeleton for your ebook, and it's time to start writing. So write your first draft. Just write to the skeleton. Great thing about a skeleton is you don't have to wonder about what you're going to write next. Okay, when people say I've got writer's block, well, I say to them, well, you're not organised. You don't have a skeleton. That's the whole point of putting a skeleton together, and it's well worth the time to do it properly. And once you've got the skeleton worked out, chapters, subpoints, etc., well, wow, it's just bang. It makes the process much quicker. And using this technique of researching and putting ebooks together, you really can turn a book around in about 30 days. Okay, if you want to get a few titles out there on a subject, few different income streams, this is the way to do it. So first draft, bang. When you finish, put it away. So create your first draft, write your skeleton, bang, off to the races. Now, when you finish your first draft, review it, write at least 3 drafts, okay? And the process is the same for draft 1, 2, 3. print it out, put it away for a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. Don't think about it, do something else. Pull it out with a great big red pen and go through it again. Jeff Goins talks about the 5-draft rule, and he's probably correct. But if you want to be in a bit of a hurry, at least 3 drafts. Anything less than 3 drafts, you're courting disaster. And getting back to point 2 of the 3-step pathway is being a pro, okay? So if you just cobble a draft together and edit it yourself and throw it up, yuck, don't do that. Promise me, don't do that. Okay. All right, so I've just touched lightly on the first part of the 3 pathways. Again, there's a webinar on this that you can access if you go to www.madhousemedia.com.au. You can get onto a replay of the webinar and get a bit more information. So I'm just giving you an overview of what the 3 pathways is. So the second pathway is be a pro. You've got to be a total professional, okay? Like I touched on before, writing a book takes a certain skill set and a certain bloody mindedness to get it out of your head and onto the paper, and that's fantastic. You know, to put something out into the culture, to share your knowledge and share a story. That's fantastic. But the second part of my pathway is simply this: you got to be professional about it. You can't do it all yourself, and that means do it yourself. I mean, really, you see some ebooks out there, and you just shake your head and wonder what was the person thinking. I mean, just because you can press publish on Amazon and, you know, create a free account and upload something and press publish doesn't mean you should. You know, being an independent author, it does mean being a total pro. You've got to treat this like a business. If you want to create a little ebook empire and make some income from your books, and I'm not saying you're going to make millions of dollars out of this, but you can certainly make a good income stream if you. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. There's live radio. There's some drama going on outside. There's a police siren, but it's gone now. Now, being an independent author means just being a total pro on everything. It means taking care. It means don't do it yourself. It means don't edit yourself. It means don't design your own covers. Okay? Especially that. Once you've got 3 drafts out, it's time to get expert help. So you need an editor, you need a layout designer, and you need a cover designer. And there are no shortcuts. None at all. Editing yourself is absolutely impossible. You know, after three drafts, your head is so full of the words you've created, and you've looked at it so much that you actually get what's called content blindness. So you can read and reread a document, and your mind will fill in the gaps what it thinks it should be seeing. So you'll start to miss simple typos, which is why you should always get an editor. In the 3-draft process, edit as much as you can, and copy editing and checking for typos and grammar and all that, and you will do that as you work through draft 1, 2, 3. But once you get to the 3rd draft, it's time to hand it off. Hire an editor, and get some feedback. use the notes. It's worth a few $100 it'll cost to hire an editor on Odesk or Elancer or one of those sites like that. We won't go into exactly how you do that here, but that's what you should be doing. You should leave your cover designer alone and don't try to do it yourself. Okay? Leave your cover design to a proper cover designer. Now, I don't care how good you think you are, and you might think, oh my God, I'm so creative. I can't let go of this beautiful thing I've created, and I love doing the whole thing. I like playing around with Canva and graphics. And come on, people, please don't. There are so many crimes against humanity in the Kindle, in the ebook store, from people that have designed covers themselves. Let somebody that knows what they're doing do it for you, okay? And I use Fiverr. I know what you're saying. But there's a technique to using Fiverr. Fiverr isn't just a place to get shit done for $5. All right, you can get shit done for $5 in Fiverr, and there's kids from all over the world making pocket money, doing various things that they can do in Fiverr. But when you dig deeper, what you realise is Fiverr is a professional network where graphic designers, editors, copywriters, computer programmers, video editors, the list goes on and on and on. It's a showcase for their real professional services. So the $5 gig that's advertised up front on Fiverr, I'll do this for $5. It doesn't mean that's the only sort of work you get out of these people, is $5 for something done very quickly. It's like a snapshot of the work they can do. And again, in the webcast, if you want to tune in to that later, I go through the process that we use to hire the graphic designer for Tale of a Barefoot Tomboy. Obviously, you can't see it on the podcast, but if you sign up for the webinar, I can take you right through this. But basically, what we did was run a little design competition. So Mary Egan, the author of Tale of a Barefoot Tomboy, had some very specific ideas on the cover art, and she wanted basically a unique illustration done for the cover. Now, if you went along to an illustrator at an agency, you wouldn't get much change out of $1,000, if that, But we got an incredible cover by running a little tiny design competition for $5, just to test the waters with 2 or 3 artists. And what we were testing was whether they could interpret the concept that we had, A, and B, how quick they could turn that around, and whether we could work with them more deeply. So the guy that won the design competition came back with this fantastic, quickly drawn concept art for $5, and he was aware it was just, it was a competition to pick the winner, and he still got paid his $5. It's just concept art. So we were quickly able to get 2 or 3 artists submitting their concept art for $5. Then when we selected the winner, we got a full quote to get the full colour illustration, and it worked out about 120 Australian dollars and about a week. And hop on Amazon, search Mary Egan, Tale of a Barefoot Tomboy, and you can see the finished work there. And that, my friends, is how you use Fiverr effectively. So use Fiverr strategically. Find professionals you want to work with, check their portfolios, commission a tiny gig to check quality, and tell them exactly what you want to do and monitor them closely. And that's how you be a pro. So you can do the same thing for editors, for layout designers, etc. So I'm Jeff Hughes from madhouseMEDIA, and I've been talking about the 3 pathways for independent writing success. And number 1, we covered on how important it is to have a writing plan and how to put one together. And we've just been talking about how important it is to be a total pro. Now, the most important publishing pathway is to orchestrate a proper launch. Okay. Now, you may have got those first 2 elements together. So you've written 3 drafts. You've got a great cover. You've created a Kindle account. You've uploaded it, and you've gone press. You've pressed the button, and you think you've launched your book. Well, I've got news for you. That's not a launch. You've just thrown it on the Amazon jumble heap. I like to use the analogy. Imagine standing on the seashore, and Amazon is the vast ocean in front of you, and you pick up a little nice flat pebble, beautiful flat pebble. That's your ebook, and then you skim it out of the ocean. You've launched it, and it goes flip, 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 and then it just sinks without trace on the Amazon sea. Well, that's exactly what we don't want to happen. And the way to make that not happen is to have some sort of launch strategy. So that's what we're talking about on this ebook revolution podcast, talking about the self-publishing pathway. Okay, so you've got to launch, because without a launch plan, your ebook is just going to disappear, really. So a few steps to launching on Amazon. Set up your account, upload the book, but save it in draft mode. Don't launch it. Pick a launch date on your calendar, maybe 30 days into the future. You've got everything loaded, but don't publish it, because step 2 is the important one. What you need to do is get lots of reviews. Okay, that's really going to jazz your book in Amazon. So reviews are essential. Ask your friends and your mates and family to review your book. Ask them if they'll do it. And keep a spreadsheet of who is going to help you, because it's your job later on to make sure they follow up, download and review your book to a schedule. The key to this is just organising your reviewers and having a download window. So you're making them aware that your book's going to be available, say, on the 1st of December. Okay. You enrol it with KDP. When you enrol a book in KDP Select, you can nominate a 5 free day window for download. So you're going to use that free window to get your reviewers to download your book. So you've got them all lined up. You've got them all ready. You've got the book ready to go. So say you're launching on the 1st of December, you would tell your reviewers, download my book between the 1st and the 6th of December. You give them the link. Then on the 1st of December, you go into Amazon KDP and press publish. Okay? Probably you should do that 24 hours before, because it takes up to 24 hours to cycle. So the day before you launch, go in, press publish. You have your reviewers mobilised to download the book the following day, and bang, you follow them up and remind them to download. Now, what happens is all of a sudden Amazon sees a spike in the downloads when your book is released. So, say you've organised 20 friends to download. Amazon sees in the background, or its algorithm sees, it doesn't actually see, but the algorithm sees this spike in your downloads, so it pushes your book up the rankings. And the more downloads you get, it pushes you to number one. Pretty cool, hey? This isn't rocket science, and this gets back to step one of the three-step pathway, is picking a competitive niche. Because obviously, if you pick a niche where there's, 500,000 books in your particular category, this technique won't work. But if you pick a smaller niche where you've got less competition, this works every time, and I've done it with book after book, and it does work. And if you want to get a more detailed overview of how we did this, go to www.madhousemedia.com.au, and you can log into the webinar replay and watch the entire webinar that goes into much more detail than I can on this podcast. So they're the three pathways for independent publishing success. Have a plan, be a pro, and launch the thing. And that's all I've got for you today on the eBook Revolution podcast. I'm Jeff Hughes from madhousemedia.com.au. So drop by if you haven't seen my blog before. I blog about independent writing and publishing and the life of the entrepreneur, and there's usually something new up every other day. So go along and have a look at that address. If you haven't subscribed to our podcast yet, it's available on iTunes and the Stitcher Network. And please subscribe and you won't miss another eBook Revolution podcast. And as I was saying, if you want to see this entire webinar replay that I've touched on today, again, just pop over to madhousemedia.com.au and you can access the webinar replay. I'm Jeff Hughes. It's been fun talking to you again. Until next time.